In the vast and intricately woven universe of Final Fantasy VII, few characters embody the tension between rage and leadership quite like Barret Wallace. At first glance, Barret is a man defined by his anger, his voice a thunderous echo against the oppressive Shinra Corporation. But peel back the layers and you find a man deeply motivated by an Enneagram Type 8 pattern, driven by the core desire to protect and control his environment to ensure justice and safety for those around him. Barret's essential fear is of being harmed or controlled, leading him to respond with a fierce defense mechanism: anger. This reflects a survival rule learned in a world that constantly threatened his autonomy and the survival of his community. His need to be strong and in control is both his greatest strength and his most profound shadow, casting a long shadow over his interactions and decisions. The ecosystem that forged Barret's psyche is both expansive and deeply personal. Growing up in a world scarred by the war and dominated by corporate empires, Barret's formative years were entrenched in a struggle for survival and autonomy. The Shinra Corporation's exploitation of resources and people directly impacted his life, solidifying a worldview where institutions are not to be trusted. His rage is not just personal, it's systemic, a manifestation of the broader class struggle against a backdrop of crystal mythology and empire-driven oppression. Barret's relationships early on are a web of support and strain. His daughter, Marlene, represents his heart, the tender side that his tough exterior fights to protect. She is the living embodiment of his hope and vulnerability. The members of Avalanche, his chosen family, provide a framework of purpose and camaraderie, validating his crusade against Shinra. Yet it is in his interactions with Cloud Strife that we truly see Barret's mask slip. Cloud activates Barret's wound, challenging his assumptions about strength and leadership, and offers a mirror to his internal conflict. Chronologically, Barret's arc is a testament to the transformational power of integrating one's shadow. As events unfold, every turning point draws back to his core motive of protection. In the early stages, his anger is raw, a blunt instrument that sees the world in black and white. But as he journeys with Cloud and the team, he encounters moments that force reflection and change. The loss, betrayal, and revelations encountered demand a reassessment of his rigid worldview. The tension between Barret's shadow and growth is palpable. Initially, his strategy is inflexible, a hammer in a world of nails. Yet, as he faces the consequences of his actions and the complexities of his allies' motivations, his approach becomes adaptable. Leadership begins to emerge not as a function of control, but through collaboration and understanding. Barret learns that true strength lies in vulnerability, in the willingness to listen and adapt. Barret's journey is a profound exploration of how protective rage, when unchecked, can consume, but when channeled constructively, can transform into leadership that inspires. His story is a mirror of our own battles, the institutions we rail against, and the personal demons we must integrate. As you reflect on Barret's evolution, consider the survival rules that guide your life. Are they steering you toward the person you aspire to become, or do they keep you shackled to past wounds? What might change in your world if you allowed your defense mechanisms to evolve into tools for growth? As viewers, take this reflection inward. What aspects of Barret's struggle resonate with your own? Are there shadows of rage, fear, or protection that dictate your choices? In understanding Barret's path, we uncover a universal truth, that the warrior's journey is not just one of external battles, but of internal reconciliation, where the fiercest enemy often lies within. Barret's internal journey reflects the archetypal path of the hero who must reconcile with the shadow. This shadow, in Barret's case, manifests as the embodiment of unacknowledged fears and unprocessed grief. His initial interactions with Cloud and the group are tinged with a defensive bravado, a mask that conceals his vulnerability. This mask serves as a temporary shield, a necessary FAA day to maintain his role as a leader within Avalanche. But beneath this surface, the hero is in constant dialogue with his darker instincts, his fears that he might not be enough, that his choices may lead to failure and loss. These fears reach a crescendo in pivotal narrative moments where Barret is confronted by his past actions and their unintended consequences. A notable scene that illuminates this internal struggle is when he visits the remains of his hometown, Corel. Here, the shadow looms large, reminding him of the village's destruction, a consequence of his initial rebellion against oppressive systems. The guilt and anger that resurface here test Barret's resolve. It is a moment rich with psychological tension, a confrontation not with an external villain but with the remnants of his own decisions tinged with regret and what could have been. In the Enneagram framework, this visit marks a significant stress point for Barret as a Type 8. Under stress, Type 8s can devolve into a Type 5, withdrawing into a world of analysis and isolation, overwhelmed by the enormity of their emotions. Barret, too, wrestles with this pull towards isolation, grappling with the fear of vulnerability and the urge to retreat into himself. Yet, it is through the support and insights of his companions, the mentor archetypes like Tifa and Aerith, that Barret begins to see another path forward. These relationships act as mirrors, highlighting the possibility of transformation through connection rather than isolation. As Barret integrates his shadow, he begins to embody the archetype of the warrior sage, a leader who wields both strength and wisdom. His transition is marked by a shift from reactive aggression to proactive leadership, where decisions are informed by empathy and understanding rather than fear and anger. This transformation is poignantly illustrated in scenes where Barret's actions are guided by the welfare of others, showing a matured understanding of leadership that includes nurturing and support. A critical turning point occurs during the game's climax, where Barret must choose between vengeance and the greater good. The internal battle is palpable as he stands at a metaphorical crossroads. In choosing to protect rather than retaliate, he surrenders his past grievances to the tides of change, illustrating a conscious choice to rewrite his narrative. This decision echoes the universal hero's journey, where the return home is not only physical but psychological, a coming to terms with oneself and one's place in the world. For viewers, Barret's evolution offers a lens through which we can examine our own relationships with power and vulnerability. His story invites us to question, how do we define strength? Is it the imposition of will, or is it the ability to embrace uncertainty and change? As we witness Barret's growth, we are reminded of the power of narrative to reflect our own journeys, the triumphs and trials that shape us. The depth of Barret's journey within the narrative ecosystem of Final Fantasy VII is a testament to the intricate dance between individual growth and collective dynamics. His evolution is not an isolated phenomenon, but a ripple effect that influences and is influenced by his environment. The interplay between Barret's personal development and the overarching story underscores the interconnectedness of personal and collective narratives, where every decision and transformation resonates beyond the individual, shaping the fabric of their world. As the story progresses, we see the culmination of Barret's journey in his interactions with future generations. He becomes not only a protector but a mentor, imparting wisdom accrued through trials and triumphs. This shift from warrior to sage completes his narrative arc, demonstrating the power of integrating one's shadow to become a source of inspiration and guidance for others. The lessons learned through his struggles serve as a beacon for future leaders within the game's universe, ensuring that the legacy of growth and understanding is passed down through the ages. Barret's journey is a compelling narrative of redemption and growth, a reminder that leadership is not a static position but a dynamic process of evolution. Through the integration of shadow and the embrace of vulnerability, Barret transforms from a figure driven by anger to one who epitomizes the strength of compassion. His story serves as both a mirror and a map, reflecting the complexities of our own stories and guiding us toward our potential for growth and transformation.